Are you guys allowed to wear sunglasses?
We are, but no one really does except for Chris Gale, just because he's a big party boy and he loves it. But he would be the only one in cricket that would wear sunglasses when he bats.
Mm, very cool.
Mike, do you have any other cricket questions? Actually, one thing I also wanted to mention was for a squad. So I know in baseball you would have your playing 9 already decided in what order they would be going out, batting. In cricket, you can decide whenever. There is a captain in cricket, which plays an important role, but it's usually, you do have designated roles who usually goes at number 1, number 2. But after that, people do sometimes switch, especially 5 or 4, and especially lower down the order. So you can change any time of the game. If a player gets out, who you're sending in can always change.
Can you hit again before someone else hits though, or does everybody have to hit once before?
Once you're out, you're out.
No. Okay. So that's how you hit. You don't get to hit again once you're out.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately.
Whenever.
Man, that's frustrating. It's in
it is
baseball,
frustrating.
Very
frustrating.
You have one bat at bat, you can bounce back, or you go play defense.
But
everyone plays defense though, right?
Yeah, everybody fields. For me,
right,
I don't.
The 11 guys.
Yeah. So we have probably 5, 6 guys on a team who will probably bowl. So there's not just one guy bowling the whole time, and then other guys just field. So I don't. Not usually. I don't usually bowl. So I just sort of chase the ball around the field and try and help out stopping runs and things like that. So
you're almost
bowled a few times, just about. But I have to field. So
yeah. Unfortunately,
get those runouts.
yeah. Try and get those.
It looks it looks tough to throw. It looks like it's a different throwing mechanic, right? Because I feel like you would have if it's heavier than a baseball, a lot of guys are throwing it almost straight armed as opposed to trying to get this layback that we do in baseball. It seems like that would cause a lot of injury. I feel like if the ball's that heavy.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I guess we're used to it, and our bodies have got used to throwing the heavier ball. But for me, when I'm in the ring, I throw a lot sidearm, just because I'm a lot closer. I'm a lot closer to the stumps and things like that, and it's a lot quicker when the ball's along the ground and you're trying to get a run out to, throw almost underarm at times as well, like submarine sort of throws. But when I'm in the outfield, it's generally more over the top because I feel I can get more power and it's a bit more accurate from out there, and it's a longer throw as well. So
yeah, that's a definite similarity. All of our infielders throw sidearm, or they have to throw from different angles just because you have to pick up the ball from the ground and get rid of it a lot quicker. And the outfielders, we all throw from straight over the top because you need to throw it 3 times the distance. You got to be, doing stuff like that, which is cool. But man, that's interesting. I do have a question about how much scientific studies are there in cricket? Is it like baseball where we're starting to get scientific where, with all of our pitchers, they're using computers and teaching us about spin rates of baseballs and how it makes them move, how we can be more efficient with our swings and all this stuff. It's kind of crazy. I didn't know. It's almost moving towards like a golf swing, so I wasn't sure if you guys do any sorts of stuff like that.
Not too much. I guess the budgets that baseball have and the budget that cricket have here in New Zealand are slightly different. So it's probably a lot down to that. But all of our throwing and all of our fielding stuff is actually comes from baseball. So we get a lot of baseball videos of guys throwing and things like that to see where we can get more efficient. Cool. I know we've started doing long toss at trainings now, so we can hopefully get a bit stronger throwing arms over a longer distance.
Have you guys heard of the Driveline program yet?
No, I haven't heard of that.
So it's a group up in, I believe they're in Seattle, Washington, and they do all these heavy plyo ball throwing. So it's you use a 2-pound ball and then you use a 12-ounce ball, and a lot of it comes from javelin throwers and how they produce all their power. And so a lot of pitchers will go there, and guys will go up there that start throwing at 88, 90 miles an hour, and then they leave there throwing 97. It's this new age thing where they do all these computer studies and they do all these biometric measurements of they put these balls on your body and they study all your joints and stuff like that, and they show you your most efficient way to throw. So it's pretty crazy, but I'm sure it would translate really well to cricket.
I bet it would. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get a strong throwing arm.
Yeah.
And then, so
Yeah.
Mike, I also wanted to ask about kind of bats. So I've heard, like, I don't know if you go through different bats each year, like, you know, different amounts, or like they break often as well. I do have a cricket bat that I can like show you kind of, so you can get an idea of the difference there.
It's so crazy. Yeah. So in baseball, you can actually kind of create your own bat. There's different handle thicknesses. There's different barrel thicknesses. And barrels, like the barrel is, some of them can be like thinner at like one part, and they'll get like bigger. But there's only a few rules where it can't be more than they call it a drop. So the difference between the length of your bat and the weight of it. So the biggest difference is a -3. So if you have a 34-inch bat, you can't have anything lighter than 31 ounces.
Okay.
Now it can be heavier if you want, and a lot of guys end up in that like the -2 range. So it's like 34, 32, something like that. And you can kind of call in these bat companies, and you can customize your own bat. You can say, you know, this is the diameter I want on my handle. This is the diameter I want on my barrel. And there's restrictions on how big the barrel can be. And the other thing that's a little confusing is there's 3 or 4 different types of wood that guys are using. So some guys use maple, some guys use ash. I use birch. And then there's one company that has been approved to use like a bamboo bat. I haven't seen too many guys using that, but yeah, I switched over to birch last year, and I had a buddy of mine who had this one bat. It's from the company called Victus, and I found that model, and I started hitting really well with it, and haven't changed since.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
How often do you break a bat though? Because I think in baseball it happens really often.
Yeah, it's different for a lot of guys, and it depends on the model of bat you use to. Some of them, if you use a really big, heavy barrel and a thinner handle, they tend to snap just because of the physics of that. You know, with a heavy object kind of tilting on a small little fulcrum, it's bound to break. And so if you don't hit it perfectly on the barrel, then it's highly likely to break. So I actually broke one the other day. Not fun, but we got plenty of spares. So I'd say I probably break one once a month. I'd say I break 6 or 7 a year. But some guys break like 30 a year. So yeah. Some guys break none. It's just it's a weird thing. Can you guys break your bats? It doesn't look like it.
I actually broke 3 in the last couple of weeks. So
no way.
Yeah, but they were all from last season, so they were all fairly well used, and they just sort of got to the end of their lifespan, I guess you could say, and they just broke. So I managed to pick up 3 new ones last week, and I just haven't been able to use them yet because we're in lockdown. So I'm hoping to get out at some point and and use them again.
Where do they typically break? Like, where would it be like a crack, or would it like shatter like our bats do?
They're all different. Some bats snap completely in half. I've had one of those before, but I generally break mine down right at the bottom, what's called the toe of the bat, and they crack in there. One of the bats I had like the other week that broke, some of the face actually came off it, so that one was pretty well stuffed.
No way.
Sometimes we break them in the handles as well. The handles can snap off.
Yeah.
If it's a bit of a cracker there and you hit one down the bottom, see it's just gonna fall apart. But I had a pretty decent year last year. I didn't break too many, maybe a couple over the season, and then these ones they just decided that they'd had enough and broke.
So do you guys have to take
really
them yourself, or does your team buy them?
No, I'm sponsored. I'm sponsored by Kookaburra, and they've got a factory here in New Zealand, in Auckland, and I just go out there and get as many as I need and when I need them.
Nice.
So I'm very, very lucky.
Perfect. Love that. Yeah. Shout out to the sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask a few questions. So this question's for Mike. So how far do you think is the MLB's longest home run? So it's not, but how long do you think it is?
I'd say 529 feet.
So it's 575 feet, which is 175 meters. So that was Babe Ruth.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So obviously that's Babe Ruth. Okay.
Yeah, well, that that was when we weren't measuring things, so it's speculative.
But usually, I mean, on average, it's like 400, I guess, 400.
Yeah.
Which is like 100 and something, like 20 or 118 meters. So now, Martin, what's the distance for the longest six in international cricket?
Be about 120 meters.
So 158 meters. It was shy of the free day.
So, yeah, I remember that one there.
518 feet. So that's like,
that's a bomb.
So it's still like when you look at home runs or six distances, they're still on average kind of similar. That's there. Okay.
Are the typical? What do you guys call a field? Is it?
Yeah, field.
Like field. So is the diameter the same? So like if you hit it straight backwards, is it the same to the boundary as it is forwards?
No, it's a lot shorter because you play from both ends. So it's where the bowler releases from is about I think it's about 20 yards to the batsman, and then when you're batting, so behind, say for instance, my home ground here at Eden Park, if you hit it behind, it's about, I think it's a maximum of 50 meters, and if you hit it straight, it's about 65, 70. So it's all different, but generally around the field, it's the same sideways from both ends. But every field is obviously different that we play on. So it's like cool. Melbourne Creek Ground in Melbourne. Obviously, it's a lot bigger.
Yeah,
it's about 75 all the way around, plus 75 meters plus. They can bring the boundaries in and things like that. So that's one of the biggest grounds, and it's actually probably closer to 80 meters, which is a big hit for cricket.
Yeah.
To be able to clear it and
really
clear
cool.
the boundary. Yeah,
it's the largest one right now. So for Mike, which teams played the first ever World Series?
Oh wow. I'm gonna say Brooklyn versus Boston, just to make it an old rivalry fun.
So Boston is there, and it was Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh Patriots versus Boston. And then Martin, so where has the first ever international cricket game? What two countries played the first ever international cricket game?
Well, I probably want to say England and Australia.
Actually, USA versus Canada. So obviously,
there we go. I had no idea.
Actually, which a lot of people don't know, that's why it's so surprising that, in America, I mean, cricket's pretty much, we do have a USA cricket team, but cricket's really not up there in any of the sporting names. Is trying to get there, but yeah, it was USA versus Canada. I'm pretty sure it had a bunch of English players that were playing on both the sides, but
I would have thought it would, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so just lastly, we're just gonna do a fun rapid fire before I have you guys sign off. So who was your first childhood hero in your own sports? So for Mike, your first childhood hero in baseball.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay, do you want to just share a little bit about him?
Yeah, he was one of the first guys to make it to the league as like a teenager. He didn't really spend any time in the minor leagues and ended up, his nickname was the Kid. And so that was kind of my era of growing up, and he was an absolute stud center fielder.
Okay.
Prettiest swing of all time too.
Yeah.
Mine probably Martin Crowe, arguably New Zealand's greatest ever batsman. He passed away 4 years ago. I had the chance before he passed away for a couple of years to be mentored by him, so that was pretty special as well.
Very cool.
Okay, now favorite food, Martin.
Oh, favorite food. Too many to choose from. A good homemade, just a barbecue at home is that's pretty cool for us. When we come home from a tour, that's generally the first thing that we do is just have a barbecue at home.
Yeah. And Mike?
Steak and potatoes. Simple guy.
Nice. I guess you can never get tired of it. For me, my favorite food is very often. So
yeah.
Okay, what is one talent that you have, Mike?
Oh. I can hit a golf ball far. How about that? Okay. That's about it. I got no other talents other than that.
And Martin?
Funny you say golf, because I was thinking I've got a very, very good power slice.
We can fix that.
Yeah.
Both may have to play golf together sometime.
Yeah. I played golf in New Zealand in 2014. We came. Yeah. Man, I loved it there. We had a blast. We stayed at Kari Cliffs for a little bit.
Oh, that's a tough golf course, that one.
Oh, it was beautiful. It's my favorite golf course I've ever played.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've played it once. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's tough though.
Well, the next question was, what's the favorite place to visit in your own country? So, for Mike, where do you love going to in America?
I like going home. I don't live where I grew up, so I love going to like just north of Boston, Andover, Massachusetts, and we live really close to the ocean. So I love going back home and fishing and just being back on the water, because Nashville is landlocked, so I don't get a whole lot of ocean life there.
And then what about for you, Martin, in New Zealand? Where's your favorite place?
I love being at home as well, but if I was to go anywhere, it would be Queenstown.
Me too.
Very cool. Yeah. It's a great place. Next time you come, you got to go and play golf there.
Yeah,
There's some great golf courses there.
I don't know if we played Jack's Point. I think that was in Queenstown.
Yeah,
we played there, and then we did
great
all
golf
the.
course.
Oh, it was phenomenal. We did all the extreme stuff, went bungee jumping, skydiving.
The old adventure.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do it. I'm ready to go back, man. It's my favorite place in the world.
Yeah, no, I was just in New Zealand this year, which I was telling Martin earlier. So I haven't been to Auckland yet because none of the games I went to was in Auckland. I came for the test matches. So I wasn't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Wellington and Christchurch, and I absolutely loved it. The only thing was that some of the places, everything would close so early. So I wasn't so used to that. I think one of the days, I couldn't even find a place to eat after 9 o'clock when we were in a smaller town. But yeah, other than that, it's such a pretty country to be in.
Yeah, we're all pretty, everything shuts by about that time, especially midweek. If you go later in the week, it's generally, things stay open a bit longer, but if you're midweek, people are already in bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle. And then to end it off with something sweet, favorite dessert. So Mike, what is your favorite?
A nice Italian cannoli.
Okay.
I'm a pretty simple guy, just vanilla ice cream, chocolate sauce. That'll do me.
Love that.
So now, before I let both of you go, is there any other last minute questions you guys have for each other's sports? So I know Martin's really has been a baseball fan, so hopefully we can get Mike up to speed on cricket.
I'm so in. When is your guys' season? What's the time frame on your season?
I think right now with COVID, it might be a little bit difficult to really get in some.
Generally,
typically, yeah.
Generally goes in New Zealand goes from about October through to the end of March, early April.
That's perfect. I'm coming. Yeah. I'm coming to a game.
Sounds good.
I'll bring my wife. We've been talking about how badly we wanted to come back to New Zealand, anyways. So
let's do it.
That's definitely the next thing we're doing.
Yeah, that should be really fun.
So yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Enjoy that involved. Hopefully you got to learn a lot about each other's sports and you continue learning about the sports as well. So thank you so much for joining me and sharing your time.
Thanks for doing it. It was awesome.
Had a lot of fun.
Take care, and hopefully this COVID passes by as quick so you guys can enjoy your sport.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
Thanks very much. You guys too. See you later.
Yeah.
Welcome to OneCricket, first daily fantasy cricket platform in USA, built by passionate cricket fans like you, where you get to join a variety of contests by using your knowledge and skill and win cash competing with other fans. More than 100,000 paid out so far to fans like you. You can also get more insights with our cricket news and scores. Download OneCricket Fantasy app today from App Store and Play Store and start winning!